Welcome to the UMBC Coaches Corner. I'm your host, Steve Levy. So glad to be once again back at the studio here at UMBC with the wonderful cooperation of Bill Shoebridge and his great students here in the MCS 395 class. Also so glad to be joined by head swimming and diving coach Chad Craddock. Chad, you don't want to embarrass you. Your 16th season as head coach, 2 decades now at UMBC, but what a resume that you have provided in your tenure here. 10 men's championships, 7 women's championships. I guess my key question is how it's easy to gain success for a short period of time, but how have you managed to sustain that such great success in the pool at UMBC?
First, thanks for having me. Well, you kind of look at success that builds on success. So we've been pretty fortunate to have great athletes and recruit great athletes, and one athlete recruits another, and as we continue to rise to a new level. We're never really focused on that championship, so once the championship is over, we're focusing on the next championship. Currently, we're not conference champions, and they all know that, and they have to work hard every day to kind of help themselves achieve greater things. So on the women's side, we're always challenged by UNH, and Vermont is getting stronger, and the conference is going to get stronger. We're going to be adding some more schools. And then on the men's side, at the CCSA, which is down in Georgia, it's extremely competitive, and there's no room for error anymore. So we know that we have to focus on here and now in this year's class. So we've done a lot. We've actually this year made a lot of changes. We've changed our weight routine. We've changed our dryland routine. We've changed even what we're doing in the water to try to progress forward, because our athletes can accept a greater challenge because they are better and stronger athletes. So we kind of look beyond what we've done in the past, and we look towards the future. When you get caught up on the fact that you're 5-time champion or 6-time champion, that's when you get caught.
Right. Chad, it's been more than half your life now that we talked before the show that you've been in Baltimore. Coming to UMBC as a student athlete in 1993. Putting together a Hall of Fame career in the pool, then moving to the coaching ranks. Obviously, getting married and raising a family here around UMBC. Could you ever have imagined when you came from Ontario, almost 2.5 decades ago, that this would be what occurred to you?
No, even when I graduated.
Right.
I graduated with a degree in psychology, and then I went back home, and I was assistant director of a boys resident camp and had no idea what I was going to do. And Sid Burkott, my coach at the time, said, "Hey, do you want to be the assistant coach?" And it just kind of fell in my lap, and I didn't have anything else to do, so I took the job. And in 2001, it gave me the opportunity of a lifetime. I never really thought about whether I was going to stay in the U.S. or Canada, and then it just progressed. And now we're here in this situation, and I love it. I love the program. I love the school. I love everything about it. The athletes, it takes years, and I think it's interesting when people talk to a coach and say, well, we're going to give you 4 years to develop a program. In reality, I've watched it. It's taken years to get to exactly where I want to be.
Right. Chad, in addition to your coaching responsibilities, you took on quite an undertaking this past year. It's still going on with the celebration of UMBC's 50th anniversary. I know it was an exhaustive process, but as you reflect back, it's only a couple weeks in the rearview mirror. How rewarding was that process, and when you saw it come to fruition on that weekend, what was that for you, for you?
So I was here, obviously you're talking about how many years. I was here for the 30th, I was here for the 40th, and now here for the 50th. I started out in the engagement team only, and my big mouth got me in the position that I was in, and I had a lot of ideas and things that I thought I would want to see, and I shared them, and I think ultimately a lot of people respected my thoughts, and I got on the committee towards the end where I was a lead in part of the area what they call the dog pound, which was going to be led by the athletic department. But what was really interesting for me is the first time in my career where I've worked with a lot of people that I don't know on this campus, and we worked extremely hard together to come up with something wonderful. The weekend hit the mark. It was exciting. Ended with fireworks and the symphony, and who knew our symphony was that great? And it was so great for them to be on that stage with the fireworks behind them. And honestly, at the end, I was very emotional. And I was emotional because I knew that all of us had put so much time and effort in to make it a huge success that it was. And I'm so excited for UMBC, and we are going to continue. There's going to be an event, later on in the year in our athletic department, maybe April, that will celebrate the 50 years, possibly tied into Hall of Fame. I don't know where we're going to go with it, but we have one more event that we want to plan on our own. Of course, you're going to be involved this time.
Yeah,
so.
I think so. Chad, we briefly talk about your teams this year. It's very early in your competitive schedules, but talk about where you think you guys are right now, and obviously a lot of building to do, but how are your programs looking for the 26-2017 season?
Well, there's been a lot of changes. We graduated a really amazing class, and then we had some transition, and we brought in a lot of young people, so a lot of great freshmen that have kind of fulfilled the role, and they're starting to understand the role. But our returners bought in, and they trained pretty hard in the summer wherever they were. We were lucky to have a Danish national champion, a Serbian national champion this summer. We had our athletes swimming at their best in the summer, and now we've led into something that's great. We competed this weekend. We're currently second mid-major after this weekend, which is huge. Our men are 13th in the nation right now, which is also another great, outstanding accomplishment. We did have an unfortunate incident where we lost an athlete, a graduated athlete, this past week. And I was a little nervous about the week, and we weren't sure how we were going to perform. And our men and women stepped up, and they, last year we were blown out by Navy, and it came down to the very end, and we unfortunately lost to Navy on the men's side by 5 points, and the women's side they were pretty close as well. But it was that effort and that energy that we were able to really pull through. And I want to also say on the women's side, they're top 10 mid-major and top 25 nationally. So we're excited on both sides. And it just was it was just such a sense of camaraderie. And the George Mason coach actually came up, and because it was George Mason and Navy, and he came up and he said, I wanted your team to know how special they were, and how they were so excited to see them perform so well.
Yeah. I saw a quote on the Navy website. He made a comment about how great it was for you guys to perform the way you did as well. I'm not sure if you saw that.
No,
but
I didn't.
one young lady I do want to single out for just a moment, Emily Escobedo, finally in her senior season, but what a tremendous career she's had, and what a year it was for her last year, finishing third in the nation at the NCAAs, and then obviously making it to U.S. trials. But talk about what that experience was like for you and her, and for UMBC Swimming to see her progress to where she has.
Well, we're extremely proud of Emily and all our athletes, quite frankly. We wouldn't be a team without the culmination of all our 70 athletes. But Emily is a standout. She's our first All-American, third, as you said, at NC2As. She's just really hardworking. She's dedicated, and she's true to her team and the program. She's a fighter. If you have Emily and someone else side by side in the last 25, Emily's going to pull through. She just has a strong desire to excel, and she doesn't let anything get to her. We were at NCAA, she's in the finals for the first time, and she acted like she was there. She had been there. Right. Chris does a great job with her as well, Coach Chris Jabot. He's been with me for a long time, and he does coach her for the most part, and he's just done a terrific job as well. And then when you talk about the Olympic trials, she was a semifinalist this year at Olympic trials. We've never had a semifinalist. And all around, we're just overly, just so proud of her as a program and a school, and really excited to see what will happen this year.
Well, Chad, appreciate you coming in. That was under trying circumstances, but certainly appreciate your visit. I know the students appreciate it too as well, and hopefully some of the students here can make it out to a meet or two coming up in the next couple of months and see what you guys are really all about in the pool. So again, thanks for the visit.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me again.
Once again, the UMBC swim and diving teams have a couple of meets that you may be able to get to. November 5th, they host Old Dominion, and then in January the 7th, they'll have a meet at home against Howard. For all information on UMBC swimming and all UMBC athletics, log on to the website at umbcretrievers.com. For the UMBC Coaches Corner, I'm Steve Levy.